My name is Antoni Strzałkowski and I'm a producer.
I'm Rafał Plaszczałek, I'm a writer.
Come touch me like I'm an ordinary man. Have a look in my eyes. Underneath my skin there is a violence. It's got a gun in its hands. Ready to make sense of anyone, anything, anyone.
The Cyberpunk 2077, so you've moved the date on from the original game's date. So what's CD Projekt's Red vision of this cyberpunk world, and how does that differ from the role-playing game that... did anyone play the role-playing game back in... Yeah. That those of us who played the role-playing game will come to know. What's the same and what's going to be different?
We're pushing the date in the future because we feel that it's no point trying to do a retro game in the style of 2020. It will be outdated today, and we would feel that, right, it's not the best of Cyberpunk we can get, because when the original paper RPG came out, it was very fresh. It was the future. We couldn't verify will it be will the high tech develop that way or the other, and that was exciting. Now we see that not all the prediction came true. That's the reason we are pushing it into the future, to have the same vibe, the same feeling that we are in the future. There is high tech, but it's not sci-fi. It's still about technology. It's still about people dealing in the dangerous world, and we want to have the same vibe we got when playing the original game. We don't want to make game only about cyberpsychosis or to make game only about technology. Of course, we'll present those questions, these ideas in the world. These are important stuff that they're really making what Cyberpunk is and why it was so exciting and still is exciting, because the question about technology is the question we are asking ourselves today, right?
Anything, black holes living inside of your face, razor wire spinning around you, 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 around you. Bullets are the beauty of the blistering sky. Bullets are the beauty, and I don't know why. Bullets are the beauty of the blistering sky. Bullets are the beauty, and I don't know why.
Combat is obviously very important in our game, but that's not the only mechanic that's important. But we certainly want to avoid the situation where your combat capabilities is that much dependent on the stats. It's about your own skill. We have open world game. There will be many factions, many different situations that you will find yourself in, and there definitely will be combat and night sea firefights there.
So when you say open world, what you know, I've heard the term used in a lot of game contexts, and it can often mean quite different things. What for you? What does open world mean? What will that mean for the player?
We want to tell the story by the open world, the vastness of it, and the possibilities. We want to player to have a feeling that he finds himself in a vast world with tons of possibilities.
Basically, what we are trying to achieve is to tell the player the Night City is out there. It's yours to explore. If you don't want to follow the main storyline, the game still works for you. If you want to jump out of the storyline train, okay, no problem. You can do whatever you want. We don't want to block player in the street where there are suddenly the piles of cars, because he cannot turn left there because there's nothing after that turn. Just a blank page. No.
As a writer on the game, how can I make the technology of 2077 seem as outlandish as a lot of the tech we have now would seem to somebody from 50 years before.
We are populated by technology. I mean, it's everywhere. Even in this room, everyone has an iPhone, right? Or smartphone. We are wirelessly connected, and yes, it's a challenge. But for me, as a writer, the thing that I care the most are the emotions between characters, and this mix of how technology will affect it, the relationship in between the social groups. Technology is changing us, or are we just looking for something to blame?
Suffered serious injuries. Police have a suspect.
We want to give players as many tools to express themselves by creating their character, be it on customization visually or do the mechanics. We want to give players as many tools as we can.
So the character creation and customization is going to be a pretty major part of what you're creating.
Yes, it will be, not only it will be important mechanic-wise, gameplay-wise, it also will be very tightly, it will be integrated in the story very tightly.
So the choices you make in the creation of the character will reflect back in the story itself?
Yes.
The apparently dead literary Cyberpunk looked at a lot of cultural, social, and political issues. Are you going to take things like that on in the game?
Yeah, as a background, yes. As a part of the world where the story is taking place, yes, for sure. But we want to keep the story on the low level. We don't feel that Cyberpunk should be about saving humanity, about winning the global conflict, or just saving the Earth. And each of big issues can easily lure us into building story like this. But yeah, we feel that what you said about Cyberpunk covering these issues is important and should be presented in our game also. For me, I feel that Cyberpunk is still not explored. That there are stuff really canonical, like Gibson, like Deus Ex, but it's not all. It's like with the westerns. At some point, there was the wave of revisionist westerns, right, in the 70s, and then everyone thought, all right, we're done with this genre, right? And then a couple of years later, there was Unforgiven, and people start to think, well, maybe we should be doing serious westerns and see what was really exciting about it. And it's still going on, so I think there is a future for Cyberpunk as a genre, but not as a way of probably predicting the nearest future, because we are not living in this world. The Cyberpunk is a mirror, is an excellent fantasy for what we would like to be, that we would like to matter in the world full of big, evil, greedy corporations, that they are populated with characters like Patrick Bateman, only with implants. And yeah, that's the latest thing I can put inside my head will change it, will save the world. And it's a bit naive, it's a bit romantic, but it really speaks to me, and I feel that people jump into it and have fun.
Because our reality is getting so close to some of the concepts that have been created in Cyberpunk that it sort of blends in, which I think is the greatest chance, because that's the difference to the, or maybe that's the similarity to the Western genre, where we find that the realistic Western stuff touches on something that hasn't been seen in Western. And in the same vein, I think that a couple of Cyberpunk games and stories can touch on something that hasn't yet been seen in Cyberpunk, sort of carrying through to the logical conclusions, or carrying a couple of other ideas through. And in terms of games, it's a wonderful opportunity to me, because by and large, a lot of games are sort of escapist fantasies. Cyberpunk is definitely part of that, but it's also a chance for me as a game designer to actually touch on serious subjects that I wouldn't be able to touch otherwise. A jump and run can be tragic as well, and it's really sad if the big gorilla steals your princess, but probably not something that's very close to my own experience. I don't have that many princesses and gorillas around, so Cyberpunk is actually a chance to mix stuff, and I think in games, as Jim said, it's a wonderful chance to sort of experience something, and then find out, or when you play the game, you can experience on one level, but you can also, it can make you think about what you're doing in your actual real life, and I think that's a great opportunity for any game.
Are you seeing yourselves actually? No, we're gonna reinvent Cyberpunk for the Cyberpunk generation, for want of a better term?
Oh, that would be a very bold statement.
Responsibility, personal responsibility.